Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all well and working on your projects and finding success with them. I am actually recovering from a cold, so my voice is a little off. Please excuse that. But I wanted to come in and make this video because I've been getting a lot of messages from different people who have been asking me questions about, how do I become a professional writer? How do I break into the publishing industry? What do I do? So I thought that, I would create a series of videos for you to hopefully whatever suggestions that I give you or information I give you may come in handy and you can use that. But before I begin, I want to make sure that I clarify something, and that is, even for those of you who are not officially writers, if you're just creating junk journals, if you're crafting, if you're an artist, if you're a designer, if you're just a small business owner who's selling products or another kind of service, whatever the case may be, I feel that writing is essential. So being a writer doesn't just mean that you're writing great novels or great nonfiction books or whatever the case may be. Writing itself is, something that we use every day. So if you're a small business owner and you're, working in e-commerce and you're listing your, let's say, handmade journals on Etsy, or you're listing it on Amazon or wherever it is that you're selling it, or even on your own website, there is a certain amount of technique you need to have in order to write a good product description so that it brings you customers and it brings you those sales. Something as small as that to something greater, which could be, a bigger project. That's what I mean by that. Is your, book proposal, to your book reviews, or to your actual manuscript. So you're writing in any of those cases. You're not just a writer when you're writing a book, you're also a writer when you're writing product descriptions, or when you're writing book reviews, or when you're writing just an article or a blog post. So I just wanted to make sure that, because sometimes people think that, you don't really need to do anything because you're not writing and you're not a writer, so therefore it's not important. I feel that writing is a skill that can come in handy on so many levels. So if you are in business and you are trying to go out there and sell products that you're making or services that you want to give to people to help them, at some level you do need to know how to write, if for no other reason, just to write a proposal to a company or to an agent or to a publisher or to someone else who you're trying to get business from. So I just wanted to make sure that, I gave you some clarity, because I've come across a lot of people who will talk to me and then they'll say, well, I'm not really a writer, so it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because it makes it different. If you're selling handmade journals, if you're selling your art and you're an artist, if you're selling products online, if you're a small business at a location, a physical location, you have a website and you need to list your services on your website. So each one of those things requires some form of writing. So that's the other thing I want to mention. Not all writing is equal. You have different kinds of writings, and each writer has his or her own style of writing. So if you're writing a biography, that's going to be different, obviously, than an autobiography, and that is going to be different than a blog post, and that's going to be different than an article, which is going to be different from a product description or a job description. So all of those things are unique in their own way and require different types of skills. However, they're all writing. So if you are trying to sell a product or a service, and you need help with figuring out how to make your product or service available to people and present it in a really great way that speaks to them, so that it helps you to gain trust with your potential customer and brings your customer in, and you have a sale and you build a relationship with them that is long term, and it's mutually beneficial for your customer especially, and of course also for yourself, then you kind of need to pay a little bit of attention to how you're marketing your products or your services. And this is where writing comes in and plays a significant role, in my opinion. So I just wanted to make sure that I pointed out the variations in the types of writing that are out there, and nonetheless why it is important for all of us to at least have some level of an idea of how we should write and how to put our writing out there. Now, as some of you may know, I recently put out a video of mine that basically gave a breakdown of all of the services I provide, because I am a professional writer, and of course I'm trying to help other people who are not necessarily fond of writing. What I have found in my conversations with all kinds of business owners and artists and friends and colleagues is that it's not that they don't know how to write necessarily. It's just there are different reasons why they prefer not to. So the key reasons that I've narrowed it down to is one of these. You may fall into one of these categories, and you may have some other reason beyond this, but these are pretty much the reasons that I've seen repeatedly come up why people don't write or why they don't want to write. So the first reason is that I often hear is that I don't have the time. Now, this honestly is not an excuse. I myself struggle with this. You know, when you are running a small business and you are possibly working in another full-time job, you may have family, you may have health concerns, you may have things going on that take up a lot of your time. So to sit there and actually write something that is going to make a difference in your business, or is going to help you, or is going to grow the business for you, whatever it may be, that requires some level of thinking and crafting and coming up with something that is going to be helpful to you. And that's not always, you know, a lot of people think, okay, well, you just sit down and then you just start writing. It doesn't quite work that way. Even if I am writing a simple article, I need to have the time and clarity of mind to actually go and do my research. Research is not something that happens in 5 minutes. It could take days, sometimes even weeks, depending on what I'm researching and what I'm writing about. So that one blog post that you're reading, it may have taken that blogger quite a bit of time to come up with that, especially if it's something of value, because they are, first of all, researching what it is that they want to write about. Then they're going deeper into it and trying to get that information for you, because what is the purpose of that blog post or the article? The purpose is so that you can have information that is useful to you in that post. And so you don't have to necessarily go out there and hunt for things, because you don't have the time to do that. Now, obviously, if it's a blog post that you're just reading off the internet and you're not familiar with the writer or the organization that they're writing for, you might go and research the article further and make sure that it's legitimate. But for the most part, if you're following someone's blog who's established, is considered an expert in their field, you're probably going to just read their blog post because of that time issue. So a lot of people who are business owners, who are doing things, they're interested in spending their time producing things and creating things rather than sitting there and trying to figure out how do I write this product description so this product sells? How do I write this article so that it gets accepted by the magazine or whatever the case may be? And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people just kind of stay away from writing. Okay. Second reason that people stay away from writing is because they often think that they cannot write. They don't think they're writers. They don't think they are capable of writing. They don't think that they're smart enough or intelligent enough, or that they don't have a college degree, or they're not able to write because it's just not good enough, whatever the case may be. So I'll tell you a little story about this whole thing. I remember Jack London, the great author. He was writing in this letter that he wrote to his daughter, who was also a writer or trying to be a writer. He was giving her advice at this point, and it was just crazy because he was talking, I believe that he was separated from his wife, and obviously it was not a good situation, at least based on the letter that I read. And so he's giving his daughter this advice, and then he says that, if a college degree made you a writer, then, essentially what he was saying is that to his daughter, that your mother would have been a great writer, which she wasn't. According to him, obviously he was a great author, so we cannot, some people may argue about that. I don't know, but I think he was obviously a great author, and he had several books that are still out in print. So enough said about that. But the point I'm making is that please don't sit there and think that just because you don't have a college degree, you're not a writer. Just because you didn't go to school or whatever, or you didn't finish school, that you cannot write. That has nothing to do with it. A lot of the things that I do it's completely self-taught. My art itself is self-taught. I'm a big believer of that. Self-taught, self-educated. I mean, look at Lincoln. He was, he became the president of our country, and he was self-taught. Look at George Washington, self-taught. So someone can come back and say, well, that was a long time ago. It doesn't, no, okay, I can name some contemporaries. I know that, who put Apple together, okay? That is a device that probably everyone in the world uses. So there's a lot of examples, both in the past and of course in our contemporary times, where people have established themselves, become experts in their fields, and really done something monumental, and just never had that college degree. Now, I'm not advising anyone to not go to college, but I am just saying that, if that is not something that you did, or that is not something that interests you, then that does not have to be the end of it for you. Don't let something like that stop you from pursuing your passion and your talent and showcasing it to the world. And that's the whole premise of what I'm saying here, is that don't let those kinds of things, you're poor, or you're sick, or you don't have a college degree, or you didn't have the opportunity, or your age, or, look at Grandma Moses. Oh my gosh, have you ever seen her art? I love her art. It's so whimsical. When you look at her art, I don't know about you guys, but I feel so happy because it's got this world that you just go into, and you can see yourself walking in those streets, looking at the horse-drawn carriages, looking at those buildings. It's just, I love that. Her art, to me at least, it pulls me in. It gives me happiness. It makes me feel like, there's something good in this world. And she did not become an artist until when? So you have no excuse. Don't let any of your issues, whatever they may be, finances, health, mental pressure, people, toxic relationships, layoffs, unemployment, family problems, whatever the case may be, don't let those things stop you from pursuing something. It's like your bloodline. This is something that you've had with you since you were a little child, since you were a little girl or a little boy. You've been dreaming of doing this, whatever this is, if it's being an artist, if it's being a writer, it's whatever it is for you. Don't quit on that. Don't quit on that. Because yes, we all grow up and we're all adults and we have life to live and things to do and bills to pay, and all these things are important, no doubt about it. But somewhere in there, there is still that little girl and there's still that little boy who had these great dreams, of doing something big when we grew up. And now we have, but somehow we've forgotten what those big dreams were. So I'm just encouraging you, please don't give up on those dreams, because that's what makes you who you are. So let those dreams shine through you, because in that you are blessing so many other people in this world who may not know of any of that if you don't put it out there. And by doing that, you're blessing yourself. So here's another thing. Today is March 30th, and it happens to be the birthday of the great artist Van Gogh. Can you imagine, I cannot, a world without Van Gogh's sunflowers? He painted so many of them. I don't, when I look at his paintings and all that yellow in it, it just makes me so happy. I know some of you may have seen, I love sunflowers, I paint them, and by no means am I comparing myself to him, but the point I'm making is that for some reason, I don't know, sunflowers just give me so much joy. I look at them and I think of the sun, and of course, when you think of the sun and the warmth and the sunlight and the sunshine, you ever notice how much better we feel, even if we're feeling sick or depressed or whatever the case may be? There's something about the sunshine and sunlight and the sun itself that just uplifts the spirits, right? You ever sit in the house with a gloomy, rainy, cloudy day, it's a huge difference in your mindset, in your attitude, and at least that's how I feel. So coming back to the point, please let your sunlight shine through and go out there and pull out all of those dreams and visions and goals you had set yourself as a little kid that you were going to do, and start working on those things and enjoy the process. That's another thing I want to mention. Life has ups and downs. There are probably more downs than ups. Nonetheless, it's not about reaching the end goal. So many of us, so many times, focus on the end goal instead of the journey. I know this may sound cliche, you've probably read it all over the place, but really it is true. Even I was always focusing on, okay, this is my target, that's it. I'm just, I do archery. So for those of you who are fellow archers, you know that, when we're looking at the target, okay, and even before you release that arrow from the bow, your eyes are completely where? Where are your eyes? If you're going to hit that target, it's on the bull's eye. You're not even looking at those red and white stripes. You're not looking at the trees. You're not looking at who's standing next to you, behind you. You're not really, if you're into it, you're not even hearing anyone. Like someone's talking to you, someone is talking around you. You're just it's all a blur because your entire focus is on that bullseye. So when you release that arrow, it's going to hit the bullseye. If you're good, that is. But anyway, so that's the point. You're trying to hit the bullseye, but it's the journey of the arrow. It's the journey of the arrow. We put a lot of emphasis on our goals and what we're going to do, that we don't enjoy the process of getting to that point that we have set up for ourselves. And what I'm encouraging you to do is don't just wait to get to the end result, to that bullseye, to enjoy, because it's the whole journey that you're taking. That's where you're working hard. That's where you're crushing it. That's where you're, having those days when you want to quit, but you still pick yourself up and you still keep going. Those are moments worth celebrating, because every day that you get up and do that, when you don't even feel like doing it, that's the day to celebrate. That's the day to celebrate. So whether you're on a journey for weight loss, whether you're on a journey to fix your mental health, whether you're on a journey to fix your health or your business or your education or your relationships, whatever it is, set these smaller goals and make sure that you look at them and celebrate them as you're working towards hitting that bullseye. So, having said all of that, I know this recording is going to go over again. I always try to aim to make it smaller and rather shorter, but it never happens that way. But anyway, to recap, writing is very, very essential, whether you're trying to be a professional writer or if you're just writing something to sell your products, or if you're just writing a letter to a family member or whatever the case may be. You are a writer if you're writing something. We're all writers at one level or another. But if you're looking for a little bit more professional help, for example, let's say if you're an artist and you're selling your art and you just feel that you don't have the time to sit there and write about your art, you need help with that, please feel free to contact me. If you're making handmade journals or you're a crafter and you want to focus in on targeting those, you want to target your product descriptions on your Etsy store or on your e-commerce site or on your website and you need some help with that, please, again, feel free to contact me. I can help you with that as well. If you're a budding writer, you want to be a professional writer who wants to publish his or her book or article, or you want to be a blogger, if you need help with that, again, I can help you. Please feel free to ask me any questions or however I can provide you support with. And I will just encourage each and every one of them, even if none of those things are your goals, if it's just that you're perfectly fine with just writing one sentence to sell your item, still, there's a way to do it that can help you to improve and increase your sales. It's called copywriting. If you need some help with that, again, please feel free to contact me and I'd be happy to answer your questions and help you guys out. So, if you like this video and you think that the yakking I've done in here is useful to you and you would like to hear more of my yakking of this kind of topic, please, please, please leave me a message in the comments below and let me know, because that helps me tremendously to create the kind of videos I know that will be beneficial to you guys. I don't want to just continue to just put content out there that means nothing to anyone. So please let me know what you think. Let me know if there's a specific topic that you want me to address, whether it's about writing, publishing, whether it's about history, art, crafts, small business, whatever the case may be. And not trying to plug in my services in this video, but I just want to let you know, you guys know what I do. If you need any help professionally, I am available for your writing needs. If you have any questions about being an entrepreneur or how to run your small business, e-commerce, whatever the case may be, feel free to contact me. Okay, thank you so much. I really, really hope that you're all having a great week and that you will come back and spend some time with me. And I hope all of you are well and again working and getting super results on your projects. Until next time, keep creating.